All right. Welcome all. Welcome to our Wake Up ESA movement. And every Friday, we have been doing this book breakthrough for several years. And even before this Wake Up ESA movement, and also in Wake Up India movement. And even prior to that, we used to have, I remember our free conference call times. Yeah, just the audio used to be available. We used to have sessions. Awesome. Welcome. We had a different, what to say, different community groups, different ways, but this marathon of book breakthrough has been going on. And we wish this marathon to continue happening. Just think about, each week, one book means like, 52 books per week, per year. And that means we are having like a coffee time or a good discussion time, with those great masterminds. Yeah. And that note, I'm super duper happy, excited, as part of our Energel coaching, Grow with Hopes and Dreams, Helping Grow, Read and Share, like there are a number of different names for this. And then we are super duper happy, to present this book breakthrough. And today's book breakthrough is about the book Drive. Yeah. This book I have not completed reading, so I'm going to just read with you. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Especially certain key highlights. And this morning, I got up around 3:15 today. And this book has been such an amazing companion for me. And I felt, in case if the scheduled presenter is not available, then I'll present it. That's how I was just, keeping it. And like you see it in the screen, yeah. Malcolm Gladwell, the author of Outliers, the author of The Tipping Point, he says it's a provocative and fascinating, yeah. So, and he says that, he spent as much time thinking about what this book meant, and he was kind of, doing it. And we all know that, how he has created amazing awakening insights through this Outlier, the Tipping Point, and several books. But he's then I got fascinated. Oh, what is this book about? And then I started reading this. I bought it from the library, and then I thought, okay, let me give a kind of. So this is written by Daniel Pink, so author of A Whole New Mind. That means he has already done a lot of research around the mind. And I think even in our Energel coaching, we say, right, it's not just about thinking. It's about thinking about thinking. Yeah, it's so very important. And many times, we all are so used to one particular way of thinking or a kind of template life. Many people are living that kind of template life. And means it's always referring somebody, referring something. Maybe, even our life also has been like, okay, yeah, whatever our great grandparents, have taught to our great parents. And then our grandparents would have learned from them. And then our parents would have learned from or the surroundings. When I say parents, not just parents, but and the surroundings. Of course, parents have a very big influence in our life. Like each of us have a very big influence in our kids' lives that way. And then this is talking about how this world has been evolved completely, right? In a much greater way. As we say in our Energel coaching also, it's all about spiral growth, right? So it's a never-ending improvement, and that's continue improving in much a greater way, and for which people need to be motivated. So as we say in our sessions also, right, motivation is a temporary, but the temporary push can definitely help them to take some action and then do it. So this entire month, we have this theme called the massive actions. And I want each of you, or the listeners, to see that, what is really stopping you from taking action. We did one session exclusively on, like, finding out the different causes and then how we can really overcome, right? A couple of days before. And the same way here, maybe I'll post a separate video also on that. And then in yesterday's session, we were talking about how we can make every day as an unstoppable day. Means how we can really make the day-long, creations and things, right? So this book also covers up to certain element of there is a science. There's a science of motivation, and there are different challenging traditional views about what is really driving the human behavior. Yeah. So that's how the title also is a drive, the surprising truth about what motivates us. And then he's getting into the details of the science and arts of, this drive. What is really driving? Let us go more deeper. And we always, have been having the different frameworks around it. And then the book brings some sort of it's trying to uncover what has been motivating the people for a long time, and why it is kind of temporary. Why people are not able to really go deeper around it, and then it is even like maybe some traditional extrinsic motivators or something like giving a reward or giving punishment. Punishment also is a motivation sometimes, right? So to get people right. So we say even the discipline is a hard love, right? In Agile coaching, we say, and how the discipline is a hard love because that is going to get you back into right. Yeah. So we say jump into actions. Yeah, take actions. Even a while ago, like we asked some question, and then for example, this book presentation, right? So each of you taking a role, and then three of you volunteered, and it's a kind of taking action for that, right? Instant action. So we say the fly concept, right? So fast learning, instant or immediate implementation. So how it is going to help, because the more and more we take action, the more and more result is going to bring. So there is some sort of motivation, some sort of drive. People have it. So I'll talk about there are different frameworks, whatever he talks about, and what is really how we can really make it a permanent inspiration things. But he didn't say that word permanent inspiration. I'm just giving that reference because all our members know based on our previous coaching references. Okay, so the drive. What is drive? And many times we forget the power of our thinking. I'm not talking about the thoughts. Yeah, thought is an outcome of a thinking, but the thinking is a process. And in that thinking process, how effectively we think, how really we think about really the thinking, and that makes the whole difference. And the author Daniel Pink, like I'll call him as Pink, right? So he says that there is an intrinsic motivation, which is totally the inner drive. In our coaching sessions, we always ask this question, right? Are you a push starter or a self starter? If you're not a self starter, at least we need to be a push starter. Yeah. If you're not a self starter, that's the thing. But the push starter is needed. Sometimes even like, we get that, right? Whether you're a husband or a wife or a kid or a parent, or whether you're a boss or a subordinate. I mean, doesn't matter, like, whatever the role we might be playing, and everywhere, we need to get things done. So for that, there should be a drive. So either someone is pushing from outside, which is the extrinsic, coming from self is the intrinsic, right? And then for that, what is really making people to do it? Yeah. So he first puts some three framework, very simple framework. The first framework is motivation 1.0. Yeah. So the 1.0 is the whatever the entire, not just human being, even non-human being, even that animal instinct and all, whatever they do, is called basic survival needs. Yeah. So that itself will be a motivation. For example, like when someone went and asked Socrates, Mr. Socrates, I want to really achieve, but I don't know how I can really do it. I could not do it myself. I always fail, and how I can really keep up that motivation, how I can really continue driving, how I can really go achieve it. Yes, I have the wish, I have that, but I was not even having the drive, right? Then he just took him to a next lake. I think I've told that several times here. And then he hold his hair on the head and then pushed him into the water. What do you want? He asked, what do you want? He wasn't sure, but he believed in him as a guru or as a master or teacher. And then that's very, very important, surrendering to the master, surrendering to the coach. That's why you say, being coachable is very important. And then he pushed him, and then he just did, okay, if he's doing, doing something for good. And then he said, yeah, I need to achieve something. I need to, master it. I need to really be very successful in life. Then again, he pushed him into the water. Again, he asked, second, third, fourth, and then he kept asking the same question: what do you want? What do you want? Then the more and more he goes, then beyond some time, he just said that, let me breathe. Yeah. Then Socrates, says that, okay, let your efforts be like this breathing. Yeah. Like breathing is needed for like the basic survival. The same way, this motivation 1.0 is something like a survival, basic survival need. Then there is a motivation 2.0. The motivation 2.0 is nothing but giving the rewards and punishment. Like the author, in a fun way, he says like carrot and stick, means like, to make your dreams to happen. How, I mean, there are different things, right? In our entrepreneurship mastery, also we have covered it in the career mastery. In case if you don't have a vision and dreams, goals for you, someone else will hire you. And then to make their goals and dreams to success, and you will be sharing your knowledge or your time, your efforts, and then do it, right? So that's a kind of like giving the carrot and then getting more done. Yeah. So I'll come back, like, whatever the author, covers some more in deeper later. And then that's about rewards and punishment. Yeah. So punishment, I hope you all can understand. Sometimes people, I mean, when you drive super fast, but whereas that you're going beyond the speed limit, or you're not really stopping at your stop sign, or you're really, your driving behavior is not good, then, there is a punishment, there is a ticket, right? So that is also a motivation, right? And then the motivation 3.0 is about intrinsic motivators, means whereas you are bringing your own autonomy. Yeah. In our silence retreat and other things, I highly suggest, in case if you're not doing, at least dedicate that. That's why we keep this Saturday as a day of silence, right? So, and reflect and then do it. Every day also we can keep at least an hour, just to go within and then see that, how we can really bring our own autonomy. Autonomy is the word. Yeah, you can note down these three things. AMP, he talks about. And the autonomy is the first one, means being self, and we'll cover about it a little more. And then being mastery means becoming a mastery in one thing, whereas you will be a go-to person for that. And you'll be that subject matter expert. You'll be completely thorough in it, right? And then the purpose. And author Pink, he gives a lot of studies, a lot of real life examples, a lot of things about, how we can really, how these different motivation levels work, and how this motivation 3, not just motivation 3 also, it goes further more levels. I'll talk about it. And then many times, for example, like there are two words, right? So he's also talking about that compliance and then engagement. So in companies, when you have complaints, what happens is like you create your own rules, and in case if you don't do it, you'll be punished. And you're always in a kind of, what will happen? Like especially those, who are working in the corporate thing. Okay. So they say, right, in general, like, there are no permanent friends in corporate world because you don't know even. I was just talking to another friend yesterday, so very senior leader, and I was kind of talking. It's not just uh, at the base level, even at a higher level, it is even more. Like, people cannot have that kind of mutual. In some organizations, I'm not saying all organizations, and then there always you would not be able to believe, you'll not be able to trust, you'll not be able to. Then what happened is, then always in the kind of rules and regulations, or even if one word you didn't miss it or you didn't mention it, it's taken, it's escalated, and all those happens, right? Whereas the engagement is about higher engagement, more conversation, more engagement happens, right? Yeah, that's why even in organizations that employee engagement is way low. That's the reason majority of the times the productivity is being affected. That's why all these concepts of agile thinking and various things are coming in, right? Okay, so and then how we can really lead to better satisfied life because you are living your purpose oriented life. Yeah. So that in the intrinsic motivation, it's talking about the how we can really live our life by owning our life. As we say, even in our code of honor, we say that 100% commitment, 100% taking the responsibility, 100% taking the ownership, and that autonomy is all about taking that ownership. Yeah. And how that can really help you to become autonomous and being unique, being different, being rare, being core, so that you'd be able to do it, you'll have a better control over it, you'll be taking the complete ownership on it, you'll be able to be the best at it, right? And that best comes as the second point, which is the mastery. Yeah. And as a subject matter. So, and whereas how we can really become mastery, and he's talking about there are certain concepts cover about it. Like I said, this cannot be completed in one session, but I'll try, how much ever possible. At least, to create the thirst and hunger for you so that you can take it forward later. Okay, he talks about the mastery can be done. I mean, mastery is an asymptote. Yeah, those who know, I mean, for few of you, it could be different because what's that? That algebra, when you draw a circle, for example, right, or a curve, that curve is not a straight line. Get the point? There's nothing called straight line. That's the point. This concept of this, asymptote is always progressing. It's moving. It's getting. It's just trying to connect. It's a progress, and that progress. That's why we say that perfection doesn't exist, or we are all getting towards the perfection, but it's not perfect, right? Means because people are thinking about making a straight line, means everything should be fine, then only I'll do this, and they miss some major bigger things, right? So here in this concept is about making a line, or making that kind of algebraic line and algebraic progressing, whereas you continue making the progress. And then the second point is about the art. So being an artist, how an artist will become better. You ask anybody, right? Even this music directors, or even this big artists, or people at a different with a great talents, they are not satisfied with whatever they have done yet. If you ask them that what is the best you have done, means the best which I am going to make, right? So always having the kind of curiosity, drive, and always making things better. So any art, if you give also, they always wanted to make it better. They always know that even though you might be enjoying some particular song or some particular work, but the creator knows that there is still I could have improved. Yeah. So whenever they have that kind of drive, then it's completely changing or switching the game, right? Then the third thing is the purpose. Purpose is what the author, puts into multiple exercises, but one exercise I will say that the very most important question you can ask to yourself. Yeah. See, everybody has to check out this world one day. Yeah. Everybody has to leave this world. Yeah, sure. Ashok and Apurva. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you. Thanks for creating a curiosity to read this book. Thanks for the wonderful stuff. Yeah, super. Awesome. Yeah. So the other brings one exercise. Yeah, about asking this simple question. So everybody has to leave this world. Everybody has to leave your conversation. Not that people are. I mean, they're always the kind of check in, check out, right? But when you check out, when you go, yesterday I listened to one of our great friends, and also is creating some huge difference in India. His name is Mr. Surendran. He was mentioning one thing, that friends, we all one day have to leave this world. Yeah, after leaving, then we go to the heaven, provided we have done something good. I mean, it's just a story, right? Okay, my belief is like we can create, or we are already creating. I really honestly believe that we are creating heaven in this year. That's how we are here. Same way, like they went and then God asked one simple question: how was the heaven? How many of you are getting, friends? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, whomever is in Zoom or in. Yeah, how was the heaven? You are not gone to the heaven. You're coming from heaven. That means we are living in the heaven. Yeah, in this heaven, how we can really make our life worthwhile. We can give the good memories, good experiences. We can create our own great experiences. So that means the first question we all can ask ourselves. Yes, and everybody, if you he is giving an example of all these US presidents, right? So when the first woman person from the US Congress, she was in the office of John F. Kennedy, and she was given a kind of an assignment. Then she started writing about the past, presidents and their contributions, and also the other different people, or the different scientists, or different people, whomever have been the great leaders in the country. And then was asking one question. I mean, he asked her to write in one sentence that, what is that one sentence about each of them? Now, the most important question is, for example, this, our Abraham Lincoln. So he worked in getting the slave system out from the country, right? So till then, there have been slaves. There used to be, I think in a couple of days before I was talking in the sessions, right? So there used to be the agents, like the HR department of the HR company. There used to be the company to recruit the slaves from different countries, yeah, and to let them, to be in the lifelong prison, or taking care of their needs and things like that, right? So he helped them to get out. The same way, everybody, we can just think about this. If I ask Einstein, then he can say something. If I ask or if I ask even your parents, or someone who inspired you, or even our energy coaching, we can always say that one line. So the question what the author asked us: what is going to be your one line for this life? Yeah, what is going to be your one line for this life? That's the number one thing. The second question, before you go to sleep, always ask this supplementary question. It's a very important question. We put it in our night ritual also. About, have I lived today is better than the yesterday or the previous day? That means every day, in every way, we are getting better. And so that's the second part of it. Yeah. So of that question. So now coming back. So the extrinsic motivation fails in many things. For example, if people are working only for money, or if they are just ticking only the time, right? Time in, time out in the thing, or okay, maybe I have to send one particular report. or maybe I have to just do this particular one, or I have to just show to my boss that I am existing, whatever, right? So it's more like, okay, yeah, people working for salary alone, or just putting that time alone, or working for somebody, and that somebody may or may not be coming in our lifelong, but still you're trying to satisfy someone thing. It is not going to help lifelong, because it is going to diminish your intrinsic motivation. If you have a kind of, a lot of conflicts and contradictions inside, and then outside you are trying to, satisfy, that means you are over relying on something. Means either on money, either on time, or either on satisfying somebody, or just for, some people will say that, yeah, just for my kids I am living, or just for this I am living. So, of course, it can even be added as a purpose, but what I'm saying is they're not living their own life. Yeah, that's the whole point, right? So means it is really affecting their own thinking of not being their best. Yeah, isn't it a crime? Yeah, like Abdul Kalam says, the Indian ex-president, right? So what he says is, small aim is a big crime. Yeah, small aim is a big crime. That means what is happening is people are not able to think. So there's a kind of study, or a lot of experiments happen, like the Princeton University here in US. So they do one test, checking this intrinsic and extrinsic motivation thing, and then, for example, they give one problem, right? In that, I was also giving an example, right, the other day about the campus recruitments, asking these questions, the group discussions, and to see how they are thinking. It's not about the answer, it's about the thinking pattern, right? The same way, Princeton University is doing one exercise about, you need to light up a candle, but the candle, one thing, whenever you light up the candle, it's really, it is melting, and then all those melted ones comes down, and then it is, that means you need a stand, candle stand, or you need a place. But you don't want to keep it in the place where, for example, you're reading a book, and then you don't want the table to be messy or something. So they have to attach that candle stand in the wall. But the wall was already built, candle stand is, and what are the different ways, they can do it. But again, when you keep that, you have to keep that candle at the little tip or the corner, right? So then that means because of the weight, it might come down. So it has to just stick. But I mean, as a kind of some constraints, and then doing it. So this is just an experiment, right? So then they are doing with the guys who are with the external motivators, means only the push starters, means there is a reward, there is a punishment, and then do it, right? And then there are internal motivators, whereas they make them to be on the free flow and things. So then what happened is, the one with reward or punishment, it takes a whole lot of time for them. Whereas the one who are intrinsic motivators, who could do it within 3.5 minutes. So that means that intrinsic. So there's a lot of case studies, a lot of examples, and also there is another case study about. See, even in education, for example, if you're not really gain that knowledge, can you make only as external motivation? No way. Yeah. And that's the reason, like, if you see, there's one statistics, I'm sure all of you would have noticed, all those who are the top in the state, there's a study, right? So from the 10th grade or the 12th grade, right? Or CBSE system, whatever. If you really look back after 20 years, 30 years, and looking at their life, and the success rate of them and success rate of those who are kind of in average, and who are having the self drive, not that starters, not those who are super rewarded but later getting demotivated, or they feel that that's why we say in our individual coaching that your past success is the main hindrance for your future success, right? It's the biggest impediment in your for your future success is the past success. And because people are so satisfied, they feel that as if they have achieved everything, right? So the author also talks about one thing. It's a worldwide phenomena, right? So how many of you are in your 30s? Give me one thumbs up. How many of you are in your 40s? Give me a thumbs up. In your 50s, 60s. So there is one study about, even I used to be afraid, when I was kind of, when someone was, my friends were kind of, arranging the party when they put the, the number 40, right? I was kind of, what? I'm already 40. How many of you just give a smile if you can relate with your friends, whom is in Zoom or listening. Those who can listen, please put it in a comment. What? That number is a kind of, bringing some sort of, surprise. Oh, no one is surprised. Oh, wow. Awesome. High five. Okay, cool. So what happened is the 60th birthday has created a lot of trauma in many people's life. Until then, they are not finding that purpose because they are all working hard and, it's like this, right? So study hard, work hard, and keep on paying the bills. One day leave the world, the kind of thing. And then they think that's kind of templated life Kumar is living. And then for them, the 60th birthday is very, very shocking. From then only they have started, working on their purpose, identifying the purpose and living the purpose and things. But the people from the blue zones, right? Like this book Ikigai also talks about it, right? So people from Japan, people from various, even in US also there are a lot of blue zones, or even like in our own great grandparents, parents, like who have been living for 85, 90, 95. Yeah, my mom is almost 85. People who live longer, and that age, right? So when they look, for them, they found their purpose long, long ago. Yeah. So that means the early you find your purpose, the more cheerful, more purposeful, more intrinsic motivated person you'll be. Yeah. And again, there are companies which is very, very strict about the time. To come this time, and then this COVID things, came and then changed the pattern of, working. In some companies, for example, Google or Atlassian, and they use the concept from the Motivation 3.0, which is like a more of an intrinsic, self-drivers. And what it does is, so they're even giving that kind of, you work at least 20% of the time. Yeah. And they even call something like a FedEx days, means allowing the employee to work on the project of their own choice and leading their own innovation and breakthroughs. Even in the agile projects, we have the innovation sprint, we call it, right? So the entire, how many of you are using the innovation sprint? Those from IT background, just give me a thumbs up, friends. Yeah, at least at the end of the year, or the last sprint of that year or quarter, or even within the same quarter also, that one sprint, can be dedicated for, find the innovation things. So it's not just for that project alone, even for you yourself. So even if you put that kind of, hard rules in non-profit organization, for example, engaging volunteers, right? Is it going to be that easy? No, may not be, right? So here I asked, okay, who all want to present the book next? Yeah. Few of you self-intrinsically you just put that, right? This also kind of exercise for this book also, right? Whether we have that internal self-drive, or we are kind of push-driven. If you're kind of self-driven, then no one, even if nobody asks you, nobody tracks you, nobody is really, you would still continue doing it. That's why all the people who are really, really successful in life, if you see them, they don't care or worry, or nothing can stop them on what others will think. Yeah, that's the biggest freedom, especially in getting that emotional freedom. You can live in a way that, what I'm sure, like, a few of you would have seen that Ilayaraja's, I don't know why Ilayaraja, I've been Ilayaraja simplified, for the past 1 week, because next week I'm going to meet him. Meet him in the sense, like, he's coming to Chicago. I'm going for a convention. He'll be there, and Dr. Kanigeswaran is living in Cincinnati. He is conducting an amazing symphony. I'm part of the symphony. Yes, I'm a singer too. And going for that. And Ilayaraja, for example, like recently there was some controversy. But okay, whether the lyrics is important or music is important. Yeah. And a lot of controversies. And people were kind of bashing Ilayaraja. Oh, okay, it's not, no, without this lyrics, the song can become up. The people were bashing the other side of it, lifting. Then he was kind of saying that, yeah, a lot of people are kind of creating. So there's a beautiful Tirukkural I'll also translate about it. So that inspired him. That inspired him in the younger age when he was going through all these critics, all this, the back talks, and people were kind of creating all these noises outside, right? And then this Tirukkural says this, Yadanin Yadanin Ningiyan Nodal, Adanin Adanin Yelan, which means whichever you stay away. From that, there are no harm, no worries. Yeah. So that means certain thing, we should really know that, like external motivation, I'm talking about both reward as well as punishment. Both we need to stay away. Means we should not give too much of importance for that, because that is temporary. Whomever said, "Wow, you are awesome, great, wow," then the same people may say it differently. Yes, they can even change the word, right? So it's all temporary. Means, and you don't want to be just carried away. But what do you think about yourself? How do you lift yourself? How do you really see yourself? How do you really reflect yourself? Like I said, the important question during the night ritual is, have I lived my life better than the previous day? Just a kind of reflections, yeah, and the retrospective. We wanted to really do that introspection within ourselves, and that. So that is going to do it, right? So that's why even there are many organizations these days, they started, bringing the concept of that, allowing that individual to operate in their own excellence. You might know Steve Jobs, right? So one of his quotes says like this, right? Hire the right people, and then they will build the right company. Yeah. Something synonymous, with that means you need to just find the right people with the right intention, the right values, the right principle, and the right way of, right integrity. None of my organizations which I work, GE, say the integrity is the total foundation for everything, right? For the individual or for our company, everywhere. Right? In that, on top of it, you can build everything. It's like a foundation of it, right? So you can build even 100 floors of building on top of it. But if the integrity is not there, then everything is lost, right? So it's like a Boolean. So Steve Jobs says that find out a person who has the highest integrity, the highest value, highest innovation, highest principles, as long as he understands the vision of the company, then leave it to them. Let them lead the kind of, that ideas, that drive, and then, they will really make that better. So this author also talks about how that organization, whichever organization is super duper greatly successful, for example, Google, this organizations like Apple, if you see them, it's really encouraged more innovations, more things. So one example, I think, one of our Wednesday personal breakthrough sessions also who shared. I want all of you to just think about just make this Wednesday breakthroughs also successful, friends, because this is all created for some reason, because each of us are coming from different experiences. When you come and share and certain best practice, certain things, certain learnings, and then we can really learn. That's also like a book. See, the two kind of masterminds, right? So one is this Friday masterminds are like with all these great authors, and then the Wednesday breakthroughs, the way I wanted, because later slowly it's reduced. I want each of you to think and then volunteer again, just come, just message me so that we'll put you into the schedule and do it, because each of you are the masterminds. This book also just pushing each of us to know how powerful each of us are, knowing the power, inner power, and stepping into the power zone, and then operating from that. And that power is the real shift. If you're really looking for outer motivation, and then we may not be able to thrive for longer. But that intrinsic motivation can really thrive. And like I said, these words like autonomy, mastery, purpose, and then we can really live the much higher, engaged, satisfied, creative, imaginary life, right? As we always say in our sessions. And many times, why people really make it super complex, because always worrying about what others will think. Even if you do some mistake, just we say one thing, right? So fail faster, fail often. Yeah. The more and more you fail, the more and more you know how not to do also. It's not about how to do alone. And the how to do will not come without knowing how not to do. Yeah, that's why even in our goal setting, we say that, you always come up with a not to do list, not to be list. And then you know how to be, then you know how to do. And many times when we say this 80-20 rule also, we say that 80% of the impact can come from the 20% of your involved effort. Then think about that, making that 80% of the effort, and how much of percentage it can really bring us what are the outcome. Yeah. So the maybe a couple of quotes I'll just read, whatever author referred, like some of these great people shared, and then we'll conclude today's session. This what happens, what are the flaws which will happen, when people are living with the carrots and sticks life, means the rewards and punishment life, right? Carrot, nothing but it's giving to eat. Stick is nothing but like you used to beat or whatever, right? This kind of analogy. Okay. So what is wrong with that? The rewards and punishment system, right? So the author says that they can extinguish your intrinsic motivation. People really forget who they are. Sometimes, even it happens even for the parents, right? So I'll tell you. So when they just, work for, taking care of children, taking care of the job, taking care of this, and then they forget, like I said, that the 60 age awakening. So the people, there's a study which says that just because they believe or they become aged, so they feel, even though we are like in a general style also, we say that, right? So that we have the caliber to live for 120 plus years. Means somebody has lived, means even everybody can live. Only that internal, external factors really affecting them. And some people believe that life is done with 60. And sometimes people don't even have the purpose. And after their kids are gone to the college or married, and then they don't know what to do. Yeah, we have seen many such cases, right, in the real life example. So that's what an author says, that they can extinguish your intrinsic drive. So be aware of it, and then they can diminish the performance, because you would be able to do so much just because of this, the company's system, or you wanted to just satisfy somebody and things. Then you're not able to outperform. Yeah. And then, right, we also did one case study, right, about what's that? About the productivity. Yeah, there are approximately only 2.3 hours of productivity per day. That means, oh my God, just think about it. The 2.3% can bring so much of output. Think about that, 8 hours of productivity means all-time productivity. What I mean is, it's not that like, should work. No, that is another part also the author covers later part of it. Like the drive is not about like, like you are done. Like I said, I used to do a lot of subconscious program. I used to do this, like this morning I got up at 3:15. Not that like of course my body may be tired a little bit, but I've been completely into that. Means that when you live with the purpose, doesn't matter like how many people show up also, right? So maybe we didn't have all the participants in the Zoom, but still nothing can stop. Even if just initially Ashok and myself were there. I said, yes, Ashok, we'll go. We'll just make the drive and then happen. Even if no one is there, also I'm going to post this video at least so that it can help. This recording is going to help for somebody somehow. Will create, right? Means once you have that, I'm just giving that as an example. Don't think that I'm just boosting myself. Yeah. So the other thing is it will crush your creativity if you're only working for the rewards and punishment. Yeah. And they can really crowd it. And sometimes people do this mistake, right? I have done sometimes. Like for the kids, in case if you're busy with something, if kids are just coming and asking something, okay, give the phone. Is it a punishment? Is it a reward? Yeah, I'll leave that answer to you, right? And also is crushing the creativity. It is crowding out the good behavior because people try to be nice to somebody. What happens? Then people will be the people pleasers, and then they get into kind of satisfying stuff, and then good behavior also is lost, and then they can encourage cheating, shortcuts, unethical behavior. These are the other effects, and also they can become addictive. That's another thing. Means living that routine life. It's just not really encouraging, boosting, things like that. Inspiring that way. They can even foster short-term thinking. They just work only for that short time. I used to give this kite analogy, right? So when you have that kite, even though you might be flying high, or even though you might be in different things, but still, if you leave that thread to somebody else, some third party, a third person, right? For example, even in the corporate world, right? And then someone is like operating it. So it depends on the fund existence or whatever reason they make that kind of decision for you. Are you really deciding for you, or are you allowing somebody else to decide your life? Yes, friends, high five. Yeah. So coming back, so then I'll just read few things due to the time, and I'll just give. I wanted to just create some sort of enthusiasm or curiosity about it so that you can read more. The ultimate freedom for creative groups is the freedom to experiment with new ideas. Some skeptics insist that innovation is expensive. In the long run, innovation is cheap. Mediocrity is very expensive. And the autonomy can be the antidote. Yeah. So it's told by one of the entrepreneurs and the general manager of IDEO. Then let me read a few more, whatever inspired me also. Okay. The author of Tribes, the world's most popular marketing blog, he says, as an entrepreneur, I am blessed with 100% autonomy over task, time, technique, or team. Here is the thing. If I maintain that autonomy, I fail. I fail to shift. I fail to excel. I fail to focus. I inevitably end up either with no product or a product the market rejects. The art of the art is picking your limits. It's so deep, friends. Yeah, the art of the art is picking your limits. That is the autonomy I most cherish. The freedom to pick my boundaries. How many of you are getting it? Give me one thumbs up. If not, I have not read it right. If not, please listen to it again. What he says is, I fail, I fail, I fail. That means it is pushing you to that boundary, because that boundary will help you. You can never fail again. Get the point? High five. And then you will be able to find that and get through it. Like Edison, how he found that electric bulb. He says that 10,000 times he failed. That means he says 10,000 way of not doing this. Means the art of the art is picking your limit. Go to the limit. Allow yourself to go to the limit, and then allow you to flow. Like that's what we call as a bounce back, right? The ball, when you hit it hard, and then when it hits the ground, it just bounces back. Yeah, means is it favoring the ball or not? Is it favoring your outcome or not? It is. That's what the author says, right? The quote says. It is pushing to the limit in a way that you can bounce back. You can really, greatly be successful. So nothing is more important to me success than controlling my schedule. Another person, Scott Adams says, I am most creative from 5 to 9 a.m. If I had a boss or co-workers, they would ruin my best hour one way or other. Are you able to just put and live your own schedule? No, right? And if you can do it, how you can do it? Yeah, or how you can influence, how you can. That's why he says, I mean, even we call it, that's the whole reason why we started this morning club, right? Means we want to really give the taste to the people about the importance of owning that hour of power, right? At least 1 hour. So this particular quote says, at least 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. See, my 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. has been so blessed for now, right? Till this point, I can say. So means how you really, create your own autonomy, power, and creating that limit and things. Okay, just a couple more. The desire to do something because you find it deeply satisfying and personally changing inspires the highest level of creativity, whether it is in the arts or science or in the business. Yeah, it's a professor in Harvard University, Teresa says. She says the desire to do something because you find it deeply satisfying and personally challenging. See, here is the thing, friends. It's satisfying as well as challenging. So one of my mentors yesterday, like I had a mastermind, Grant Cardone, he was mentioning one thing. You have a dream which is 100%. Okay, great. Many people don't have the dream. That's a different point. But if you have the dream for 100%, but if you're not really having the system to achieve it 100%, then it's not going to help, right? So it will be challenging, but that is what is going to inspire you to the highest level of creativity. If not, people will be in the comfort zone and then stuck zone, then dangerous zone, right? So figure out for yourself what you want to be really good at. Know that you will never really satisfy yourself that you have made it, and accept that that's okay. Get the point, right? This is what I was giving an example. So you want to figure out what you are good at, and in that also, the more and more you do, you are still not satisfied. That means you are open for the improvement. You're open for the new learning. Yeah. Try to pick up profession in which you enjoy even the most mundane, tedious parts. Then you will always be happy. Yeah. So there's a little pain, little anxiety might be in the beginning, but the more and more you do, it will be awesome. All right. So I'll just there's one thing I wanted to just share so that now I can just do. Okay. So there's one particular section which is called listen to the gurus, the 6 business thinkers who get it. Yeah. In that, maybe one or two I'll just say. So I'll take Peter, right? Peter Drucker. He is the kind of quality expert. What he says is, what I am to focus on, what results can be expected for which I should be held accountable, by what timeline. It is his insight, always. That's what, we can really do. So even in the organization management, he talks about self-management. Only if we are managing ourselves. He has even written a book called Managing Oneself. And Jim Collins, he says some of the insights. Lead with questions, not answers. Engage in dialogue and debate, not coercion. Conduct autopsies without blame. Build red flag mechanisms. In other words, make it easy for employees and customers to speak up when they identify a problem. Yeah. And they should not be afraid, if even it's even for the parenting, right? So when you don't allow your kids to share, or if you're really shocked, you're really anger on certain thing, then next time they will not come and share. Yeah. So something like that. So hope you all found it useful. Yeah. I'll just go on pause for some time. Any of you want to just quickly share some takeaways? Would appreciate. With that, I will conclude today's session. Yeah, feel free to unmute and then tag others. Yes, any volunteers? Where is that inner drive, friends? Come on, come on. Or use it as a extra.
Yeah, my takeaway is like, don't expect too much perfection in when you start. So mistakes will mold you and make you perfect. So do how many mistakes you can make, and you can rectify it. Fail as much as you can. So that's what we should have, our own inner drive within us to take massive actions. So that's what my key takeaway, Mahendra. I think Mahendranji dropped. Vanilla, Vindhya, Ashok. Anybody wants to share some key takeaways in this?
I joined late, but I agree with you. I always thought we have to get it fully perfect before we move on. But I guess it's okay to do it incrementally and not be perfect, and it's okay to live. That's what I gathered.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, thank you.
Mahindran, quick question. Do you have yesterday's recording?
Yeah, I will share that. I shared it in our Telegram group. Yeah.
Oh, Telegram. Sorry. I don't see it much often, but I will.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to say, share? Not, will conclude. All right, friends. Until see you again, Chinna, cheer up and keep signing. I'll also post today's recording as well, and it's also available in YouTube. And feel free to share this book breakthrough, YouTube link to your friends, families also, so that it would help, or even your colleagues, anybody. Also invite everybody, to be part of this game, be part of this journey, together we create a better world. Thank you, friends. See you all on top.